You think luxury is about wealth, but it's actually about control. That line you see is not demand, it's a psychological trap. The system decides who enters. It's about creating a sense of exclusion. Every minute you wait, the desire grows. This is engineered scarcity. They are not running out. They are holding back on purpose to control the supply of desire. They don't just sell products, they make you wait until you feel chosen. And then you're hooked. Some people don't wait because the system needs you to see them and feel behind. Price is not about cost, it's about perception. The higher it goes, the more you want to belong. The logo doesn't change the product, it changes your mind. It transforms an object into a status. By the time you see it on your screen, you already want it. The algorithm knows your weaknesses. They could make more, but they don't, because scarcity is the strategy. It's the oxygen of luxury. Luxury is not about what you buy, it's about what others can't. It's the ultimate divide. At some point, it stops being about the product. It becomes about you, about how you want to be seen. You're not buying things anymore. You're buying identity. You're buying a place in the hierarchy. The harder you work, the more you feel like you deserve it. The trap is set. Even when it costs too much, you convince yourself it's worth it. You justify the sacrifice. And just like that, it starts again. The next desire is already being engineered. Different people, same behavior, a global synchronization of desire. This isn't just a collection of brands. It's a system, a global network of control. And the system doesn't control your money, it's after something deeper. It controls what you want. It shapes the very nature of your ambition. And once it controls that, it controls you. The trap is closed. You think luxury brands are struggling to keep up with demand, but the truth is, they are controlling it. The shortages you see are not accidents. They are designed, because the moment something becomes harder to get, it becomes harder to ignore. And the moment you start chasing it, you stop questioning who created the chase. This is not a store. This is a controlled environment. Every light, every shadow, every silence is calculated. You are not here to choose. You are here to be influenced. The spacing between products, the way they are displayed, even the way people move around you, it's all designed to slow you down and make you feel less in control. Notice how nothing is given to you instantly. You are made to wait, to watch, to feel like access is being granted, not offered. Because when something feels restricted, your brain doesn't see limitation, it sees value. And that value has nothing to do with the product. It has everything to do with control. You think this line is proof of popularity? It's not, it's proof of design. The longer you wait, the more your brain justifies the wait. You begin to believe it must be worth it, because no one wants to feel like they waited for nothing. And that's when the system locks you in. Here's what they don't want you to realize. They are not selling out, they are holding back. Supply is controlled deliberately, because when something disappears, it becomes more desirable. And when you miss your chance, you don't walk away. You come back more desperate. They could produce more, faster, cheaper, but they don't, because abundance would break the illusion. Luxury depends on restriction, not quality, not craftsmanship, restriction. The less you can have, the more you want. And then you buy it, not because you need it, but because you've been pushed to want it. The pressure builds quietly. The waiting, the scarcity, the exclusivity, it all leads to this moment. And when you finally pay, it feels like relief. But that relief is temporary, because the system doesn't want you satisfied. It wants you dependent. The feeling fades, and the desire returns, stronger than before. You think you're buying status, but what you're really buying is a place inside a system designed to keep you chasing forever. This is where the system becomes invisible, the wait list. You think it exists because demand is too high, but demand is being shaped, not followed. The list is not just a queue, it's a filter, a way to decide who gets access and who stays outside wanting more. Waiting changes you. It builds anticipation. It creates emotional investment. The longer you wait, the more you convince yourself it must be worth it. Because if it isn't, then what were you waiting for? And your brain refuses to accept that possibility. So it doubles down. Access is controlled. Not everyone gets in. And that's intentional, because exclusion creates desire. The moment you are told not yet, you want it more. It's no longer just a product. It becomes a symbol of acceptance. But here's what most people never see. There is always more stock, hidden, reserved, protected for the right customers. The scarcity you experience is not the same scarcity they experience, because in this system, access is not equal, it's assigned. And then there are the chosen ones, the ones who never wait, who always seem to have access. They are not lucky, they are part of the system. Used to display what others can't have, because nothing fuels desire more than watching someone else already have it. When access is restricted, price stops mattering, because now it's not about value, it's about getting in. People start paying more just to skip the wait, just to feel included. And the system allows it, because desperation increases profit without increasing supply. Look closely. This is not shopping. This is competition. Not for the product, but for status. You are not trying to own something. You are trying to prove something, and the system knows that. That's why it keeps you outside, just long enough to make you feel behind. This is not a market. This is not demand. This is control. A system where access is limited, desire is engineered, and people compete for the chance to overpay. They don't just sell products, they sell position. And the higher you try to climb, the more they make sure you never reach the top. At some point, it stops being about the product. It becomes about how you feel wearing it, how you look holding it, how others react when they see it. Luxury doesn't just change your appearance, it reshapes your identity. And once your identity is involved, walking away becomes almost impossible. You are constantly being reminded what success looks like, what status looks like, what you should be aiming for. But none of it is organic. It's all curated, a controlled stream of images designed to keep you comparing. And comparison is where control begins. Notice the difference. Some people don't wait, some people don't ask. They are welcomed, guided, given access others don't have. Because in this system, status isn't just bought, it's displayed to remind everyone else where they stand. And then comes the moment, selection. You're no longer just waiting, you've been chosen, and that changes everything. Because now, it feels personal, like you've earned something rare. But in reality, you've just been pulled deeper into the system. Behind closed doors, there's another level, a space most people never see, where access feels like privilege, where products feel more valuable, simply because fewer people can reach them. But this isn't reward, it's reinforcement, a way to make sure you never want to go back to the outside. And here's where it becomes dangerous, because logic starts to fade, price stops mattering, you're no longer thinking in numbers, you're thinking in feelings, in status, in belonging. And once emotion takes over, the system doesn't need to convince you anymore. For a moment, it feels like you made it, like you crossed the line, like you finally belong. But then something strange happens. The feeling starts to fade. The validation doesn't last. And deep down, you realize you're exactly where you started, still wanting more. This isn't an accident, it's a cycle. A loop designed to repeat. Desire, wait, purchase, emptiness, and then desire again, over and over, not because the product changes, but because the system needs you to stay inside it. They don't just sell luxury, they sell the need to keep chasing it. When you finally get it, everything slows down. You open the box, you hold the product, you expect something to change, to feel different, but nothing really does, because the value was never in the item. It was in the chase that led you here. And soon, it becomes just another object, one more thing on a shelf, surrounded by others that once felt just as important. The excitement fades, the meaning disappears, and what was once special becomes normal. That's when the system resets. Because the next desire is already waiting. A new release, a new version, a new reason to want again. And just like before, it feels important, necessary. Like this time, it will be different, but it won't be. This is happening everywhere. Different cities, different people, same behavior, same pattern, because this isn't personal, it's programmed. A global system designed to make millions of people feel the same desire. Behind all of this, there are decisions being made, strategies being built, limits being set, not based on what you need, but based on how you react. They study behavior, they predict desire, and then they design products to control it. This is the part they never say out loud. They don't need you to be rich. They need you to feel like you're not rich enough, because the moment you feel complete, you stop chasing. And if you stop chasing, the system stops working. So they don't just sell luxury. They maintain your dissatisfaction quietly, consistently, perfectly. Look at it carefully, all of it. The lights, the logos, the silence, it feels powerful, almost untouchable. But that power doesn't come from the product. It comes from what the product does to you. Because at some point, you stop buying things and you start buying identity. You start asking yourself, who am I without this? And that question is where the system takes full control, because now it's not optional anymore. It feels necessary. This is not luxury, this is repetition. A loop designed to keep you moving, but never arriving. You wait, you want, you buy, you feel, and then you feel nothing, and then you start again, exactly where they want you. Because in the end, this was never about money. Money is just the entry point. What they really want is your surrender, your time, your attention, your identity. A system where you don't just buy, you submit willingly. And the most dangerous part, you think you're choosing this, you think it's your decision, your taste, your ambition, but it was never yours. It was designed long before you walked in, because the system doesn't force you. It doesn't need to. It simply makes sure you never want to leave. What you see in the store is only the surface. The real system operates far away from the spotlight. Inside boardrooms, where decisions are not based on products, but on behavior, because luxury brands don't just create items, they design reactions. Every product begins as an idea, but not just any idea. A calculated one, designed to trigger desire. Colors, shapes, materials. Everything is selected for how it makes you feel. Not how useful it is, but how much you will want it. And then comes the most important decision, how many will exist. Not how many can be made, but how many should be allowed. Because value is not created by abundance, it's created by restriction. The fewer pieces available, the more powerful each one becomes. There is always more stock than you see, but you are never meant to know that. Products are held back, stored, hidden. Because visible scarcity creates invisible pressure. And that pressure is what drives you back to the store. Then the story is built. Not around the product, but around the feeling. Advertisements don't show reality, they show aspiration. A life you don't have yet, but feel like you could. If you just get closer to the brand, and the message spreads through people you trust, people you follow, people who make it look effortless. But what you're seeing is not spontaneous. It's positioned, carefully placed in front of you, again and again. By the time you walk into the store, the decision is already made. Not consciously, but internally. Because you've seen it before. You've imagined it before. You've felt it before. And now you just want to make it real. This is not a brand. This is a system. Every part connected, every step controlled. From the moment the idea is created to the moment you reach for it, nothing is random, nothing is accidental. Because the goal was never just to sell you something. The goal was to make sure you want it. You think price reflects value. That something expensive must be better. But in this system, price is not based on cost. It's based on perception, how much it feels worth, not how much it actually is, and perception can be controlled. The materials are real, the craftsmanship exists, but that's not what makes it expensive. Because similar materials exist everywhere. What you are paying for is not just what it is, it's what it represents. And representation is something they design. The logo is everything, a simple symbol that changes how you see the object. Without it, it's just another item. But with it, it becomes something else, something elevated, because meaning has been attached to it. Put two identical items side by side, one branded, one not. And most people will choose the branded one, even if it costs more, not because it's better, but because it feels better. Because perception overrides logic, and that feeling is constantly reinforced through images, through stories, through repetition, until it becomes truth in your mind, not because it is true, but because you've seen it enough times to believe it. There's always a moment of hesitation, a brief pause where logic tries to step in, but it's already too late because the system has been building this decision long before this moment. And now you're not deciding, you're confirming. And once again, the cycle continues, different people, same decision, same outcome. Because the system doesn't need to change, it just needs new participants. People who believe they're making independent choices. This is not about quality. It's not even about luxury. It's about control over perception. A system where value is created, not by what something is, but by how it makes you feel. And once your feelings are controlled, everything else becomes easy. Not all customers are treated the same. Some are welcomed, some are observed, and some are prioritized. But this difference is subtle, almost invisible. Because the system doesn't show you your position, it lets you feel it. Behind every interaction, there is data, purchase history, spending patterns, behavior tracking. You are not just a customer. You are a profile, measured, ranked, and categorized without you ever seeing it. Some doors don't open for everyone because access is earned, not offered. The more you spend, the more you unlock. Private rooms, hidden collections, early access, a different world inside the same store. Scarcity is not the same for everyone. What is unavailable to you may already be available to someone else. Because limitation is selective, designed differently for each level, so you keep climbing, spending, trying to reach a level that keeps moving higher. And then you're invited. An event, an experience, something that feels exclusive, personal, like recognition, but it's not reward, it's reinforcement, a way to pull you deeper into the system. At this point, you've already invested too much, not just money, time, emotion, identity. Walking away would feel like losing everything. So you don't, you stay. And the system knows that. There is a hierarchy, unspoken, but real. Some customers matter more, some are given priority, and others are kept chasing because not everyone is meant to reach the top. This is not just a brand strategy, this is a ranking system, a global structure where access, attention, and value are distributed unequally, not by chance, but by design. Because the system doesn't want everyone satisfied, it needs most people to keep trying. At first, it feels like choice, different options, different designs, different identities. But look closer, the differences are small, controlled, because the system doesn't offer freedom. It offers variation inside a fixed structure. You spend time deciding, comparing, thinking you are in control, but every option you're choosing from was already selected for you. Your decision exists within boundaries, invisible limits that you never question. And this is where the illusion breaks, because your choice looks exactly like everyone else's. Same products, same behavior, same outcome. You think you're expressing individuality, but you're repeating a pattern designed long before you arrived. When the store empties, the system resets. Everything returns to its original state, clean, controlled, ready for the next group, because the process doesn't stop. It repeats over and over with new people entering the same cycle. Behind it all, the results are measured, not in products sold, but in behavior maintained, consistency, repetition, engagement. Because as long as people keep coming back, the system is working perfectly. This is the truth hidden in plain sight. You don't own luxury. Luxury owns your behavior. It shapes how you think, how you feel, how you decide, and most importantly, how you keep coming back. Because the system doesn't need control over your money. It already has control over you. Different cities, different people, different lives, but the same behavior, the same decisions, the same cycle. Because this system doesn't depend on individuals. It depends on patterns, and patterns are easy to control. Take a step back and look at it from the outside. Everyone moving, everyone chasing, everyone believing they are choosing. But when everyone moves the same way, is it really a choice? Or is it something else, something designed? This is not freedom. This is repetition, a system that keeps you moving, but never lets you escape the loop. You wait, you want, you buy, you feel, and then you feel nothing, and then you start again exactly where it wants you. Because control doesn't look like force, it looks like desire. You don't feel trapped, you feel motivated, driven, focused on getting closer. But the closer you get, the deeper you fall into it. And by the time you realize, it already owns your attention. And the most powerful part of all this is that it doesn't feel like control. It feels like ambition. Like progress, like success. But it was never about you rising. It was about keeping you moving. Because as long as you keep chasing, the system keeps winning. And you stay exactly where it needs you to be. At the highest level, this was never about fashion, never about design, never about the product itself. Because while you were focused on what to buy, something much bigger was being built behind the scenes. A system that connects money, influence, and perception. A system where brands are not just businesses, They are instruments of power, quietly shaping how entire societies define success. And once you control that definition, you control everything that follows. Luxury is not a market. It is a signal that tells the world who matters, who has access, who belongs at the top, and who is still trying to get there. Because in this system, money alone is not enough. It must be visible, recognized, and constantly reinforced through symbols. That's why luxury products are not just objects. They are signals, visual markers of position, designed to communicate status without words. Because when status becomes visible, it becomes measurable. And once it's measurable, it can be controlled. Turned into a system where people don't just live, they rank themselves against each other. And this system is not local, it's global. The same patterns repeat across continents. Different languages, same desires. Different cultures, like same symbols of success, because the system has been standardized, exported, scaled, until the idea of luxury means the same thing everywhere. And the message is constant. Everywhere you go, you see it. Not directly, not aggressively, but consistently, subtly shaping your expectations, telling you what success should look like, what lifestyle you should aim for, and what you're missing if you don't have it. And it starts early. Before you even realize it, you are introduced to the system through screens, through images, through stories that feel normal, but slowly, those images become expectations, and those expectations become pressure. A pressure to become something you were taught to admire. And this is where it becomes personal, because now it's not about the system anymore. It's about you, your identity, your self-worth, how you see yourself, and how you believe others see you. And once that connection is made, the system no longer needs to push you. You push yourself. This is the real power of luxury, not the product, not the price, but the influence it holds over perception. A system so deeply embedded that it doesn't need to control you directly, because you've already accepted its rules. And once that happens, you don't just live inside the system, you become part of it. At the top of this system, money doesn't move the way you think it does. It flows quietly, across borders, across industries, connecting brands, investors, and power structures. Because luxury is not isolated, it's tied to something bigger, a financial ecosystem, where value is amplified, not created. Decisions are made far away from the store, far away from the customer, inside rooms where the conversation is not about products, but about positioning. How to stay above, how to remain untouchable, how to make sure that no matter what happens, the perception of luxury never collapses. Because if perception breaks, the entire system follows. And here's what most people never realize. Many of these brands are connected, owned, controlled by the same groups, different names, different identities, but the same power behind them. Because competition is often just an illusion, a way to give you the feeling of choice inside a controlled system. Value is not discovered, it's created, pushed higher through controlled environments, auctions, limited releases, exclusive drops, each one designed to send a message that this is worth more than before. And once that message spreads, the entire market adjusts. At the highest level, these items are no longer products. They become assets, stored, protected, treated like investments, because their value is expected to grow, not because they are more useful, but because the system keeps reinforcing their importance. Again and again, and the story continues, reinforced through media, through reports, through constant confirmation that this world is expanding, growing, becoming more desirable, because as long as the narrative remains strong, people will continue to believe that entering this system is progress. But step back for a moment, look at it from a distance. Who is really benefiting? Who is actually rising? Because while millions of people chase the same symbols, only a few control the system behind them. The more people participate, the more powerful it becomes. And the further away the top moves. This is the truth most people never see. Luxury is not just about wealth, it's about power. A system where a small group controls perception, while millions of people respond to it. Where value is decided at the top and accepted below. Because once a system controls what people desire, it doesn't just influence behavior, it defines reality. Look at the movement, the flow of people, the repetition of actions. It feels natural, normal, but it's not. It's structured, a pattern repeated across the world. Because millions of people are chasing the same idea at the same time. an idea that was never created by them. And this is where control becomes invisible. Because now it feels like your choice, your taste, your ambition, but ask yourself, where did that desire come from? Who defined what success looks like? Who decided what you should want? Because once those answers are hidden, control becomes effortless. The message is everywhere, not loud, not aggressive, but constant, reinforcing the same idea again and again, until it stops feeling like influence and starts feeling like reality. Because repetition doesn't just inform you, it rewires you. And when the moment comes, you don't hesitate for long, because it doesn't feel like a decision anymore. It feels like something you need to do, something that completes the version of yourself you've been building in your mind, but that version was never fully yours. It was shaped by the system. And this is where the system becomes powerful, because it connects to your effort, your work, your time. You start associating luxury with reward, with progress, with proof that you are moving forward. So the harder you work, the stronger the desire becomes, and the cycle tightens around you. Even when it stretches you, even when it costs more than it should, you justify it because it feels like an investment in yourself, in your identity, in your place within the system. But the truth is, the system benefits from that stretch because the more you sacrifice, the deeper you stay connected. And then, for a moment, you see it. The pattern, the repetition, the structure. You realize this was never about reaching the top, because the top E keeps moving, and the more you chase it, the further away it becomes. This is not just influence, this is control at scale. A system where millions of people move in response to the same signals, the same desires, the same definitions of success. Because once a system defines what people want, it doesn't need to control what they do. They do it themselves. Every hour you work, every effort you make, it all feeds into something bigger. You think you're building your life, your success, but at the same time, you're fueling a system that grows stronger with every step you take toward it. Because the more you want, the more it expands. It follows you everywhere, between moments, between tasks, between thoughts, blending into your daily life. Until wanting more feels like a natural part of who you are, not something placed there, but something you believe belongs there. And this is the moment most people ignore. The pause, the hesitation, the quiet feeling that something doesn't fully make sense, but it disappears quickly because the system doesn't give you time to question. It keeps you moving forward, deeper into the cycle. The system doesn't just exist in stores, it exists in experiences, events, spaces, moments designed to make you feel closer to something higher, more exclusive, more powerful, because the closer you feel, the harder it becomes to step away. And while you move through the system, it watches, measures, adapts. Every reaction you have becomes data. Every decision becomes insight. Because the system is not static. It evolves based on how you respond to it. This is the truth most people never face. You are not just part of the system. You are what keeps it alive. Your attention, your desire, your effort, all of it feeds into something. That doesn't need you to win. It only needs you to keep playing. Look at the pattern now, not as a participant, but as an observer. Different people, living different lives, making the same choices, chasing the same signals, repeating the same cycle. Because the system doesn't control individuals, it controls behavior. And behavior spreads. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The repetition, the structure, the invisible design behind everything, it stops feeling random and starts feeling intentional. Because it is. Every part of it was built to guide you without force. This is not a journey, it's a loop. A system that keeps you moving, but never lets you arrive. You wait, you want, you buy, you feel, and then it fades. And then you begin again. Not because you failed, but because the system was designed that way. Because the truth is, there is no final level, no point where you are done, no moment where the system lets you stop. It only gives you the illusion that you are getting closer. Closer to what? That's the question it never answers. Because if it did, the system would collapse. And now you understand. This was never about luxury. It was never about wealth. It was about control. Control over perception. Control over desire. Control over how people define success and how far they are willing to go. Because once a system controls what you want, it doesn't need to control what you do. You will do it yourself, exactly, the way it was designed. This is the truth, the illusion, the power, and now you see it. Every layer, every signal, every pattern. The system has no end. It only has participation. And as long as you participate, the power behind the illusion remains absolute. For the first time, everything feels quiet, no movement, no pressure, no signals telling you what to want. And in that silence, something becomes clear. The system only works when you're inside it, when you're moving with it, when you're chasing what it shows you. So the real question is not what they are doing, it's what you are doing, why you want what you want. Why certain things feel important, why you feel behind even when nothing is actually missing. Because the system doesn't create reality, it creates perception. And once you see that, something shifts. The same stores are there, the same products, the same signals, but they don't pull you the same way anymore because you're no longer reacting automatically. You're observing. And observation breaks control. The system depends on momentum, on people moving together without questioning direction. But the moment one person slows down, everything changes because control requires participation. And without participation, the system loses its power. The product hasn't changed. It's the same as before, but now it feels different because the meaning attached to it is no longer controlling you. It becomes just an object again. And then you start noticing something else. How much of your attention was never yours? How many desires were repeated until they felt real? Control doesn't need force. It just needs consistency. And for the first time, you feel something unfamiliar. Not excitement, not pressure, but clarity. Outside the system, there is no hierarchy, no ranking, no constant comparison. And this is what they can't sell you because it doesn't depend on them. Once you experience it, you realize something simple. The most powerful position is not having more, it's needing less. The world hasn't changed. The system is still active, still calling for attention, but something inside you has shifted. Awareness creates distance, and distance breaks the automatic reaction. And in that moment, you realize something powerful. You don't need it. Its value was never truly yours. It was assigned, placed there to make you feel incomplete. For the first time, you are not reacting, not comparing, not chasing. Within that stillness, you begin to understand something deeper. You were never behind. All the things you thought would define you are just objects now, because meaning was never inside them. It was inside you. And once that meaning changes, everything else follows. The system still moves fast, still creates urgency, but you no longer match its speed, because speed was part of the control. The faster you move, the less you question. Silence becomes powerful, clear. Without constant input, your thoughts begin to separate from what was placed there. You begin to take back control, not over the system, but over yourself. And this is where everything changes. Inside, the system loses power the moment you stop needing it, not when it breaks, but when you no longer depend on it to define who you are. Real freedom is not having more. It's needing less, not proving something, but understanding that nothing needs to be proven. The moment you stop chasing, you step outside the system. The system is still there, unchanged. It continues to move, to signal, to attract, but you are no longer part of its rhythm. Once you see the pattern, you can choose not to follow it. You start to notice it in others. The urgency, the pressure, the need to move faster. For the first time, you don't feel behind. You see the chase for what it really is. The signals are still everywhere. Same messages, same promises, but they no longer carry the same weight. Awareness has broken the illusion, and once illusion breaks, influence weakens. You realize something simple but powerful. You were never chasing success. You were chasing a version of success that was designed for you. And the need to chase it begins to disappear. Walking away doesn't feel like loss. It feels like release. You're leaving something that was controlling you. In that space, something new begins to form, built on clarity. You start to see value differently, not in symbols, but in experience, time, awareness. Real value doesn't need to be proven. It exists without permission. And there's a moment in where everything becomes clear. You were never lacking anything. The system just made you feel like you were. As long as you feel incomplete, you keep searching. Outside the system, there is only space, clarity, and the ability to define your own direction. The real shift happens in what no longer owns you. The system never needed to trap you. It only needed you to believe in it. And once that belief is gone, everything changes. At the edge of everything, you begin to see clearly. A life not defined by signals, not measured by symbols. Outside the system, nothing is trying to shape you. That silence is where clarity begins. The illusion just loses its power. Once you understand it, you can't be pulled the same way. The signals exist, but they no longer define you. Definition no longer comes from outside. And this is the truth most people never reach. You were never meant to arrive, because arrival would end the cycle. The system depends on the cycle, on desire that never completes itself. There was nowhere you needed to go. And in that realization, you begin to move differently. Not faster, but with intention. Your direction is not being shaped for you. It's being chosen by you, without the need to prove anything. This is what freedom actually feels like. Not louder, not more, but quieter, clearer, lighter, because nothing is telling you who to be. You finally understand what was real and what was not. In the end, the system stays exactly where it was, still shining, still waiting for the next person to believe in it. It just needs enough people to keep it alive. You see it, but you're not inside it. You understand it, but it doesn't control you. Control only works when it's unseen. Once it's seen, it begins to lose its hold. All the waiting, all the chasing, all the wanting, it was never leading somewhere. It was keeping you somewhere, inside a loop. That felt like progress, but was actually repetition. And once you see that, you stop running. Because the truth is simple. You don't need more to become more. You don't need symbols to have value. Everything it promised you was already yours before it told you otherwise. The system doesn't control you. You give it permission to. And the moment you stop, it loses everything it had over you.